Scholar podcast. I am Melanie, the hip hop scholar, where the beats meet brilliance and the mic becomes a mirror for the moment. I'm your host, Melanie, the writer, educator, and lifelong student to this culture of hip hop. Today's episode is extremely special. It's not just any other interview, it is a moment. We're joined by a young artist from the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, a city that has birthed legends, shifted sounds, and built a dynasty from struggle, soul, and southern swagger. But this next voice, LP the Rapper, is bringing something new. LP represents the next generation of hip-hop storytellers, the ones who don't wait for validation, they create it. Their pen speaks for the unheard. Their flow reflects both discipline and danger. Not the kind that destroys, but the kind that defines. From the project Take One to the single Sparking by Myself, LP has shown us that independence is not isolation. It's identity. Every verse feels like a conversation between who they were and who they are becoming. See, what makes LP special isn't just the bars, it's the blueprint. It's the awareness that hip hop isn't only music, it's a message, a mirror, a movement. LP is proof that you can spark by yourself and still light up the world. So today, we'll talk artistry and authenticity, how faith, focus, and fearlessness collide in the creative process. We'll talk Atlanta's influence, the grind of self-made discipline and musicianship, and how to stay grounded when the spotlight starts to shine. Wherever you're listening, whether you're in your car, your classroom, your cubicle, or in your creative zone, lean in because this conversation is about more than music. It's about purpose, about power. It's about what happens when a young artist takes the mic and decides that this is their moment. So get ready because the Hip Hop Scholar is live and my guest today, straight from ATL. The energy is real, the message is necessary, and the movement is now. I welcome LP, the Rapper.
What's good? Nah, that's hard. Beautiful words, beautiful words. Thank you for having me. Really, that meant a lot. That meant a lot.
Oh, at the very minimum, we give flowers for all artists that contribute to the culture of hip hop. Everything that you represent is true to the essence and the spark that is hip hop. So thank you again for joining us. We are just as grateful for you as you are for this podcast. And many times that you feel the need, we are here welcoming you to share your story. And so let's jump into that. Let's talk about LP the Rapper. Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, let's start from the very, very beginning. The question I ask all of my artists that join me on the podcast: when did you fall in love with hip hop? What was that song? What was that movement? Any of the pillars of what hip hop is? What started it for you?
Powerful question. I love it already. Born from a boombox. If you heard it, you know, you know. I was a B-girl before I made music. I was a B-girl around the age elementary school. You know, I always knew music made me move, you know, and I honestly thought I would grow up to be like a Chris Brown type of vibe, but never really cared to sing. I just knew I could be really well with the pen. But man, dance honestly was my introduction to hip hop. Like being a B-girl and watching all the dance movies that my pops put me on, You Got Served, like all of that stuff, like growing up, you got to think early 2000s too, like that's when I feel like pop culture was really being shown off in other areas, not just in its own areas. So like music, you hearing all the new music and the dancing movies because the dancers is dancing to it. So I'm in my living room trying to bust the same type of moves. And I think as I crept into maybe third or fourth grade, I started just writing music. I saw a freestyle on YouTube, you know, and it's like, dang, like I think I could do that. So had these thoughts in my head and I just started writing them out more, honestly. Music is me. It's literally something that I breathe. So I would say it started with dance though.
And both of those speak of expression, right? Being able to write, being able to dance comes from the expression, from the beat, the rhythm, from all of that. Shout out to your dad for sharing that with you and using an iconic term like B-girl. That's from my generation, my era. But it's confident to hear that that's what you define yourself as a B girl, B boy, and that stance of what hip hop truly is. That dancing, that choreography, is crucial. Shout out to Chris Brown too. He's definitely one of those artists that can do it all, and so can you, LP. You definitely
Thank
showcase
you.
a lot of the artistry, the lyricism, the essence of what it is to that makes hip hop exactly the paradigm that it is today. So let's talk about Take One. And that particular
Mm.
song feels like both an introduction as well as an affirmation. So when you were creating
Mm.
that, what truth about yourself were you hoping that the world would finally hear? Talk to us about that process with Take One.
Exactly what you said, honestly, and to kind of have those thoughts at a young age, as I sit and think about it, I'm like, wow, like that is actually really dope. Take One is exactly the name. The first take to meet an LP. Like I ain't have money like that for real to be buying my equipment. My first ever check, thank God for just a summer job. At 15, I think I was 14 because I was going into my freshman year of high school. Bought my first equipment, recorded my first project, and that one I really had that project sitting since I was probably in elementary school. Like truth be told, I always was writing. I just never knew. It's like you're doing something, but you never know what you're doing sometimes, and I think that's kind of like what life honestly feels like. But man, like it was always there. It was just always there. It's never been. I could never get away from it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. I knew when I put out my first ever body of work, whether it was by a big label or anything, it had to still be the first introduction to LP. Like this had to be where, even if I am 14 years old, this is how you're meeting me for the first time. And now I'm stepping into adulthood and I'm trying to reintroduce myself because I'm not the same little LP I was once before. So, yeah.
And giving credit to that LP that started it all, your ability to go into this vault that you created. So everything that you wrote, everything that you expressed, you almost have to do this shadow boxing of yourself where you go back in time and give honor to that and grow from there, right? So that inner child, you are giving that respect to for starting that for you to create those words that you can always go back to affirm from, and let little LP know, like, we big now, we bigger than big now, and
Right.
continue to grow from that as
Right.
well. And so with the name LP, so you've had the name since you were 14. Where did that come from?
Man, LP the Rapper was a theme before Chance the Rapper. I say it every time. I'm actually in a process of really just changing it. Not even changing. I'm just gonna say I already introduced myself as LP. A lot of people know me as LP the Rapper. A lot of people know me as LP. It be what it be. But uh, it's my government, literally, Layla Perryman. I'm not running from who I am. It's just it always felt like me. Like I said, I am music. Once I'm in love with cassette tapes and vinyls and all of that way before it became a trend. So once I figured out what LP actually meant, I'm like, whoa, I just put out my first LP when I was a kid. So it was fun, like just learning more about myself and being in control of my artistry. That's the one thing I've always wanted for myself, and I feel like my name is very, very in control and in control because of me.
And authentic as well. So it's your actual initials to your real name. And many
Right.
artists, right? I'm from Louisiana, so you got Lil Wayne, and he's had several
Yeah,
different
shout out to the.
names. Shout out to the Wayne. There's several different names that he's gone through, and many artists. Drake. P Diddy back in the day, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs. And different artists have different names when they have different shifts in their life or when they just want to change it. So you feel free for that expression, that freedom. But we all know, man, that's LP. We knew LP when it was capital L
Right.
period, capital P period. But
Yeah,
always
yeah.
that authenticity. I think that's your goal, um, to just share that it's all about who you are. And pieces of this podcast is also to unpack with the artist, right? To be able to kind of dig deep into your mind to try to figure out right along with you the whys and the hows of what you do. Because your process, when it comes to writing, and you talked about cassettes and vinyl, so you have a very old school, old soul even when it comes to approaching hip hop. So talk to us about your creative process. Like, how are you putting your music together? Is it first you listening to the beat and then you're writing, or you're writing first? Is it a mood? Is it like, what has to happen for LP to create that music?
It's changed over time. I've noticed as I've gotten older. It's definitely began to change, but I've always liked to set the vibe. Um, Crazy enough, I'm having this interview in my old art classroom where I was when my art teacher introduced me to poetry in fifth grade. That started helping construct my writing. So for the longest, I didn't even know poetry and rapping were like the same thing when I was a kid. Like, I just always, for some reason, thought things were in their own lane and stayed in their own lane. Once I grew up and started realizing things is always got turning signals on to go different places, like, I was like, okay, this is interesting. So I started writing poetry for a while. I was really in my poetry bag for a minute, and I noticed how the storytelling would then fade into the actual music. So a lot of my old projects are kind of set up in a storytelling type of way. For example, my second project I put out is called Love All of the Above. I think I was a sophomore in high school at that point, and I basically went on my Snapchat. I asked all my homies, give me a one word definition of love, like whatever you think it might be. And I basically took everybody's one word definition and I put it as the cover art. I basically kind of put the cover art together like that, along with a few of my one word definitions. And I kind of sat and told myself, this project, I just want to talk about the beauty and the ugly of love, because I get I'm young, and I think that's what I was kind of battling too, like adults telling us like, yeah, you young, like it's really not that serious, but it might not be, the relationship itself might not be that serious, but figuring out my emotions at that age is, because I felt something from the people I was talking to, or just whatever it was in that moment. So I wrote about it. I wrote about the good, I wrote about the bad, I wrote about my wrongs, I wrote about their wrongs. So I take advantage of the moment around me a lot. I try to take advantage of whatever I'm going through personally, because to an extent the music is therapeutic, but I also try not to abuse my therapy, because I've noticed as well by listening to a lot of my old stories, like I don't really want to overshare sometimes. I feel like certain things I've realized I just got to let it sit. I really got to let it sit. I don't want to make music about it to constantly keep hearing it, I guess later on in life. Because, once you put things out, it's for y'all, it's for the people. I've sat with it probably for years, some months, but I've gotten to a point now too where I'm like, I don't really think I need to talk about that. I think I can put that energy elsewhere. So storytelling, man, I sit and tell stories for a second.
And it's important to tell those stories so that other people can, who have those same feelings and can express themselves how they feel. That's where that music comes in. And so to make that connection, when you were talking about poetry, poetry and hip hop have the same tree, same roots, different type of branches, right? But still, you have those iambic pentameters, you have the stanzas, you have the expression that comes with it, and so that poetic element definitely can be heard in your lyrics, and vice versa. Shout out to the art teacher, your fifth grade, the
Shout
art
out to
teacher.
Susan Barnes.
There you go.
Susan Barnes. I plan to bring her on tour one day. That woman, man, she's still here to this day, inspiring the kids. Like I'm realizing more than ever right now, everything any adult that I've ever looked up to or even possibly disagree with, like they was just trying to put me on the right path. That's all it was. Like I've learned a lot. To be working with the teachers that once taught me is such a full circle moment right now, and she's one that still pushes my pen to this day. Like I'm in here in the poetry group with the kids, listening to the writing prompts, just trying to get my pen right, because that's what I'm struggling with right now. Like I just want to be able to clear my head, and I feel like I got so many thoughts I can't get it out. But the writing prompt has actually been the solution.
Yes, definitely want to give flowers to educators like Susan Barnes, because when you use hip hop, and I want to say hip hop, even that poetic element, the artistry, the way to express, to be able to bring that into the curriculum is so
Yeah.
important, right? That's definitely a big piece of my podcast is to place hip hop in curriculum, because when we do, we can definitely make changes to the generation. I'm sure Susan and I probably in the same generation, and so when we were growing up, giving students what we did not have is such an important thing, because just as you say, you're still being pushed. You're still wanting to give back to Sankofa, right back where you were, and give those students more in honor of what the educator gave you. So, I want you to be able to give those flowers to them here. And then, like you say, in the future, when you go on tour, and she will be right there to see the fruits of her labor. Because, being an educator can be a thankless job, straight up. It really can. And to hear and to see, right? For her to see you to grow and really manifest all the things that she was putting out there for your classmates. Hopefully, a lot of your classmates have been successful, maybe not, right? Some of them were actually listening, some of them may or may not have. And that's also the paradigm of being, or the paradox, I should say, of being an educator, is that you give so much and you want for students to hear you, and sometimes they don't until it's too late. So thankful that you caught on, you heard to, you caught on to it and continue to grow into that. And so when you talked about also hip hop being therapy and therapeutic,
Mm,
um,
man.
what's something have you worked through or understood about yourself because of music? Whatever you're comfortable enough with sharing, but what is something that you learned through music or understood more about yourself because of being able to express yourself through hip hop, even through the dance or even with the poetry?
Forgive me for pivoting. I just see the
No, you're
computer
good.
is dying, and I'm trying to get us to the nearest charger. But I definitely can still multitask.
Okay.
Man, what I've learned about myself through music? That was the
Mhm.
question, correct?
That's it. That's right.
Man, I've learned a lot, scholar. I've learned a lot. Truth be told, the biggest thing, wow, the biggest thing.
Hmm.
Hmm. I just gotta try it. My music, crazy enough, I won't say I've had stage fright, but like I will get so nervous knowing that I'm more than capable of going up on the stage and doing what I'm great at. But I think I've just taught myself to just hear the beat, stay with the beat, stay with the beat. Don't stay with the voices you hear in the crowd. Don't stay with your friend that's standing next to you. Just stay with the beat. And it keeps me focused, and it honestly calms me down too, just a little bit. Um, Confidence, though, I think it is improving my confidence. I think it's telling me to just keep trying. It might not always work out how I wanted to, but at least you tried. That's the first step. Now you keep going to figure out what you can really be capable of. So I'm still learning, but I think that's been the biggest one.
Yeah, that try with a bit of umph, and it's triumph when you do so. And then building that
Man,
confidence, because I remember distinctly one of the things that you and Devin 22 talked about so much so and give so much honor to are places like Peter Street Station. And so being able to share your music in venues like Peter Street, shout out to Peter Street Station in Atlanta, Georgia, as a form of therapy as well. In that environment, when you are with people that are like minded, when you have the artists and when you have the audience and everybody's there with you, in those essences, therapy is given in an authentic way for yourself. So I'm very happy to hear that you are able to not only use your music to give that lesson on being able to try, and then in addition to that, being able to find that confidence of self, because that's something that is hard to teach. It's hard to teach students. It's hard to even teach ourselves, to be confident, to do that, to make certain that you are on track and you're doing those things as needed. But it's beautiful to hear that Hip hop has served as a therapy to teach you your confidence and how to try. So tell me about how you've been able to do that at Peter Street Station as well. How long have you been performing over there in that venue? Your audio can't hear you, my dear. Not able to hear you. Mhm.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
There we go. There we go. I believe about 2 years now.
Okay.
Crazy enough, I met a young lady when I was walking on campus at Georgia State, and I told her I make music, and she listed off two places. To this day, I don't remember the second place, but one of the places was Peter Street, and she said it was every Wednesday from 9 to 12, $5 entry. I said I think I might go check. That was like a confidence booster, honestly, because I told myself I don't really like going to places that I don't know of. Like I could tell Peter Street is something. It's almost like a speakeasy, but it's not a speakeasy. You just gotta know people to know where to go. And I went one Wednesday and I was completely moved. It was early 2023, if I'm not mistaken, around February. I was moved. I've never seen live music like that, or let alone the mic being so open and I can just go grab it and the band kind of piggyback off of whatever I'm saying. Never performed live, but I saw a moment and I grabbed a mic and I started doing my thing and the band was rocking with me, the crowd was rocking with me, and I kept going. I kept listening to the beat. Like really, like that's all that was happening in that moment. And ever since then, I mean, it's been magical. I done brought my homies from Maryland through there, homies from Delaware, New York. Like Peter Street gonna be the spot we go to mid tour in Atlanta, and might even go have another second show after the other show. Like I love it there. I want to do so much for that community whenever I'm able. I hope I'm doing enough right now. Like they just put me in my first magazine. Like shout out, Antonio. Like it's a lot going on right now. A lot going on, man.
Oh man, that's so awesome! Congratulations, congrats. That's
Thank you.
awesome to be featured in a magazine in Atlanta. That's fantastic. What y'all say? Clock it, like you young people say.
Yeah.
Because again, like you were saying before, hip hop being therapy. So Peter Street was the first place you ever performed live. So you're just writing, you're kind of performing to
with
yourself.
live with live music.
Okay, with
With
live
live
music.
music. I mean, I think
Well, that's a vibe there
I've
too.
performed elsewhere. I guess yeah, right. Like I don't recall performing anywhere else before that. Yeah. Actually, I had a show. I think 2 weeks before I had went to Peter Street for the first time. Like when I went to Georgia State, I think that was like a side quest for me because I only went for a year, but I was networking the whole year. I was meeting all type of people, and I got an opportunity to perform at this restaurant called Gusto's, and I went there, did my thing. I was standing on their tables, just trying things out with the stage set that I was presented with, and Peter Street just kind of has been making me practice my stage presence, I would say, because I've been able to now go find different shows. I had a show in Maryland, two of them at this point. So, I'm just trying to expand at this point. I like to use it as a space for me to be a student of my craft still.
That's all right. That's right. And shout out to Gusto as well, and all of those venues that help you to build this identity, this authentic self of who LP is and who you are becoming. Performing on the stage is a very intimate but powerful setting. It's one thing to create your words and write them down and say what you're trying to convey. But then when you get in front of an audience and to share that with the audience, that's a whole different feeling and a different responsibility as well. So,
Yeah.
being able to, like you said, take what's given to you. You either on the table or if you're on a cipher outside in the street, if you are with the music, without the music, and then even having a live stage, I appreciate those types of places that allow for not just artists with their words, but also artists with the instrumentation. And then I've seen clips of Peter Street Station, and they have all different genres and all different people that are really able to find their feet. And then there's like so many other things. It's more than just music. It's a like a center. of art that you can just express yourself in different ways. And so, I do
Mm-hmm.
want to agree with you. I want to definitely claim and tell you now that absolutely you are doing enough by what you're doing now by staying positive, giving back to your school and being this role model now and representing Peter Street Station, because that's exactly why they created that, is so that people can stay in a positive mind frame, because there's so much going on. And
Mm.
if there's a place where you can be positive and share positivity, that's exactly what they're there for. So know that for sure. Oh yeah.
Real. You ain't said nothing I disagree with. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Needed that for real. I love that space.
I'm sure they appreciate and love you too, LP. And so you're coming from Atlanta. Are you from Atlanta? You born and raised? You an AT alien?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I
okay.
I kind of made my way out here. I'm from deep in Georgia, so like Dallas, Georgia. Some people might not even say that's deep in, but I think it's deep in. Dallas, Georgia, but I've been in Atlanta all my life. Like after elementary school, I was up here. Like there was nowhere else, you know. So this is home.
Well, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at, right? So you can be somewhere for a year,
Right.
even a month, and represent that place completely. So, definitely. So I want to just ask about coming from Atlanta, right? I used to live in Atlanta myself when I was going in my undergrad. My
Mm.
father lived in Decatur. He lives in Stone Mountain, Georgia now, and, navigating different spaces there. But this was like 90s, though. This is, back in the day when, Ludacris and Outkast and, really, and Atlanta was really jumping in the hip hop game. So that was a whole different era of living. But I also want to talk about, artists like yourselves. That city breeds greatness. It just does. Atlanta is that space where any and everyone that comes from Atlanta, and really in any industry, Atlanta is the mecca. Like, people go to Atlanta to be successful. That's why my father's there now. He's been there, man, almost 30 years or so, because Atlanta just
Mm.
breeds greatness. And so, how has Atlanta, right, helped you to carve your own lane? Like, shout out to ATL. And so, like, how does that city, the history of it, even, how does it help you to carve your own path in your own lane of greatness?
Mm. Man, I feel like once you go into a space, I'm big on stepping into spaces and making the most of the space. So like Peter Street is an example, but truth be told, that's what it is. Like you go places, you meet these people, you network, but for me it's more than just networking. I'm actually trying to build relationships with these folks. I get it, we work in a dog, a cutthroat world, right? But if I don't want to work with you, I don't want to work with you. But I meet a lot of great people out here, and with that, you're able to build. You're able to build a team. You're able to see who believe in you. Like that, that actually be helping. Like a lot of my friends support my music, but a lot of people I've never met. Prime example in Peter Street will come up to me and say they've seen me perform here 3 weeks straight. Be like, yo, like you're cool. Like bro, what you actually telling me this to my face? Like, I don't know. I feel like Atlanta brings that courage to you. Like, it make people want to actually show love. I don't know how to explain it. I go into spaces and I make the most of the space. And here, Peter Street has been one space I do that at. Shoot, even my own apartment. Like, I had a student living type of setup apartment. It was a 4x4, so that means one of them rooms is mine. I was inviting at least 8 of the homies over, from Maryland at that, and some from Atlanta, of course, and telling my roommates, like making sure everything was okay with everybody, and my roommates even just being down and hospitable and trying to take care of everybody, and like, wait, yo, LP, you make music for real? Like, you do this for real? I'm like, yeah, my room studio A, the living room studio B, it'll be packed up by the end of the weekend. Like, that's just, I don't know. I haven't been anywhere else outside of New York where you can just set up shop. Like, you get the right people around you, bro, and even if you don't have the right people around you, if you just have your own vision, you feel me, and you just keep going, out here, anything is possible for sure. For
Oh
sure.
yeah. Oh yeah, Atlanta is definitely one of those cities again that breeds greatness, has opportunities. If you have an idea, there's people that's going to help you get that idea off the ground. And as you navigate, right? So you may not still. Are you still at Georgia State, or you're just kind of taking a gap year?
I'm not, I don't, with college, I'm not against it. Shout out to all the homies that have graduated. Shout out to 22. Like, seeing 22 honestly do that, it's come across my mind to just maybe go back because I would know what I would major in now, and how I would spend my time. But I don't know, like, I'm big on fight the power. Like, I just systems. I don't like systems that don't really make sense, And I've always felt like college was one that don't make sense, but it makes sense if it makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about it, but I was there for a good time, not a long one. So I don't know.
Well, let's have that discussion because I am a college professor. I've been in higher education for a long
Ah,
time. Yes, yes. And with this podcast as well, LP, this is my research as I go to earn my PhD and using this
hmm.
substantially for creating curriculum and pedagogy for students like you. I feel like that if there were a design curriculum that used hip hop and used those pillars of authenticity and identity, it would help you to navigate better. Yet, let's have this conversation. Let's do some office
Yeah.
hours real quick. What is your major, or what would be your industry? Let's talk about that.
Business management or business marketing.
Okay.
Or something with politics. Like, little do people know, like, music is just something that will put me in other rooms, and also, like I said, it's my therapy, something to keep me going every day. But there are other side quests I would love to go on. I'm really, really into politics, so if I could have another, like, I never even known how really college like works. Like, I think you can go in for one major and then you can have like a sub major, but it could be for a whole different category of something. Like, I would do something fly like that, like, business management. Then all of a sudden, I'm taking philosophy too. Like, I like stuff like that. I love philosophy actually.
Yeah, philosophy. That's definitely one of my one of the best classes I ever took, but I didn't get an A nor a B in that class when I took philosophy. And my son, my oldest son, shout out to Omar, he's a college student out here in Houston, and he's majoring in STEM and
Mm.
has a minor in Spanish. And so activating the left and the right brain when it comes to college, and it is a challenge, whether you are at a HBCU or PWI, it's going to be a challenge either way. Yet, what I want to
Hmm.
share is that it is so necessary for each college classroom to have someone of your stature, LP. So, when you think about the system that's in place, you have to also understand that your job as a college student is to synthesize information. You are not there to be a carbon copy of anyone or anything. You're taking the information they're giving you, taking your experience, mixing it together, synthesizing, and creating something new. And that's your absolute goal. Yes, they give you these exams to make certain that you understand this content, because just like with history courses, you don't want to repeat bad things. And so it's
Yeah.
about mastering this structure and beating the system to earn that degree so that you can turn around and tell someone that as well. So, my sorority sisters and I joke all the time, don't let these degrees fool you, because, I can get down too.
Mhm.
But at the same token, earning that degree means that you took the system and you beat it. That's exactly what it is. It's not supposed to be more challenging than it already is. And yes, most times it doesn't make sense. Yet, with a brilliant mind that you have, and this whole entire time, you've spoken so well, so eloquently, you have great etiquette, that college is designed for students just like you. And maybe it might be the actual college campus, because I've had to go to different college campuses. for me to get all of my degrees. It may be a change of that. It could be the modality. Maybe you are more suited for an online setting rather than an in-person setting. College is, and I tell this to the students that I service, that college is designed to help you become who you are. You learn about who you are. You learn more about how you study and what works best for you. So I wouldn't count college out completely yet. You know, gaining a college education just allows for you to be able to beat the system that you dislike, right? It's counterproductive, right? That the system is college and university, but when you get in that program and you work it and you do it and you win, you earn that degree, and they can never ever take it away from you. And there's nothing they can do to take it away from you. And that's that flex. That's that opportunity to build better. That's your ability to be in that school and have a position and to, really make changes and then go on to the school district or as for your major in business, there are different businesses that aren't even created yet that needs a mind like yours to create it. Now, do you have to go to college to do that? No. A lot of it, you do not have to go to college to do it either. College is not for everyone either. And so whether you are trying to get a bachelor's, a master's, even an associate's degree, look into a program that's going to teach you exactly what you're trying to learn and take that challenge on. Just like you learned about literacy through hip hop, like Susan Barnes was challenging you to express yourself with those words. That's exactly what a collegiate education is going to have you to do as well. It's going to challenge you. It's not supposed to be easy, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. So a mind like yours, LP, I definitely encourage you. You can always reach back out to me and ask me questions as well. But college is designed for scholars like yourself here on the Hip Hop Scholar podcast, where you can really define and create something new that the world has never seen. And this world needs new things. It needs a new shift. So you would very well be the person to do that. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. And I appreciate that, Miss Melanie, a lot. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, that's office hours for you. We'll definitely have to talk again, navigate through that and see what's up, right? Even if it's financial aid, if it's, the classes,
I'm
balancing
open to it. I've been talking to Mom Dukes about it a little bit. I just trying to find the balance of, that's really what it is. Like I'm open to it now in this stage of my life. Like I told myself I would give myself a year there to just see what I could be capable of. Like, what could I do? But now my head's a little bit more clear on what I would do. How would I balance it has been my question. But you just started a tech talk conversation I'm going to have with my mom later. So thank you for that.
You are very welcome, my dear. And when I tell you that hip hop saves lives, in the midst of that, there would be no Melanie, the hip hop scholar. I used to actually, at the end of my papers in undergrad, I used to sign my papers as the hip hop scholar. This is, early 2000s when I'm getting my undergrad degree. That is what I would put on there. So here I am now pursuing my PhD as the hip hop scholar. That too is my full circle moment, like taking it very seriously.
Man, that's fly.
You know what I'm saying? It's a joy to be able to converse with different people and again unpack this because people think hip hop is just entertainment. For some, it's just something they put on, they dance to it for a party, and that is the surface level in which they accept it as. But then you have people like yourself, and even with me, and many people, and really everyone that I've been able to interview, hip hop is a part of life. Hip hop is what helps you to breathe. It's what helps you to get up in the morning. It's what helps you to go ahead and eat something and let the sun shine on your skin. It's more than just press play and something, permeates from the speaker. It's about the creation, the expression, and the identity of it. So when I, reached out to you and I heard about you and then did my research about you, LP, like you are truly something special. You are exceptionally special. And I want you to harness that energy. You have so much potential. And now that I've learned more about you, you're giving back to your middle school in such a phenomenal way. And then, you've had this experience, and I hate that you had a negative experience, which is why you're like, let me take the gap year. but jump back in, continue on that path, because you're making changes for yourself and you're making changes for others. Like you said, you got strangers coming up to you. How does that feel to have somebody you don't know that are they like, man, I am a fan. I'm watching you. Tell me how that feels.
It's breathtaking. Like I don't, I feel like sometimes I'm too humble, but like I don't like how I feel when I step out of the humbleness. Like I'm very appreciative that you are shocked, but I'm shocked that you're shocked because you shocked that I just do what I do. So it's just, it's cool. It's really cool. Like I'm mad appreciative of stuff like that. I love talking to people that just appreciate other people's craft, whether that's football, basketball, art. You know, like just being in that moment and appreciating the craft you see.
You got to lean into that confidence a bit more, though, my dear. You got to lean into it and be like, you know what? I am the shit. I am. Like,
Ah,
for real.
shit.
You got to pop that
Shit.
collar and be like, you know what? You right. You're
Ah,
welcome. Start telling people you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? You can be humble and modest, and that is, true to the game of what you do, and that expressionism of, being able to say, I appreciate you giving the appreciation. Yet you also have to realize that there is an opportunity if people are listening to your words, then what do you want them to hear? What do you want for them to take away from your music? If you once you get into creating a new song, what is something different? If they're going to listen and they're going to learn and do exactly what you say, what do you want for the people to hear you and learn from? Talk to me.
That's a deep one. That's a deep one. I think that's where my writer's block, excuse me, has been coming in a little bit. Like as I'm getting older, my interests change. So what I like change, what I'm wearing change, like what I'm saying changes. So and even just working at the middle school, like the little homies are telling me they listening to my latest project. It's not the dirtiest, but it's also not the cleanest. But I'm also speaking a very real message in there. Like I'm just talking about life. I'm not talking about anything I wouldn't tell them to go do, So
What about life? Tell me
I think
specifically, what about life are you impacting them to know or to learn from? Let's be specific. Give me this thesis.
oh yeah, this office hours for real. This is a
Yeah.
deep one.
So if not
Right
before,
now,
then
what I
just
want,
think in the future. Go ahead.
yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
Now I was saying that if
Uh,
you can't think about what the song you were trying to portray or give them before, then for the next song, what specific thing in life do you want for these seventh graders, for the people at Peter Street, at Gusto, every audience in Maryland to Cali to Australia? What do you want for them to understand about life specifically?
the ability to be present is the most important thing in life. I'm learning that so much, man. Tomorrow is not promised, and yesterday wasn't, but you made it through. But to be present, I'm missing out on so much in my life right now because I'm not present. I'm thinking about what's going on next week, what's going on in the morning. And I don't know, like even the kids right now, and they're traveling. Like the kids, I just packed up merch bags for kids that are going to London. They left earlier today. So trips like that, like when I went to Japan and South Africa, those trips changed my life at the age, whatever age I was, seventh and eighth grade. So y'all got to be present. You got to be appreciative because you don't get time back. You don't get people back. And a lot of these people in y'all's life right now who you might not get the opportunity I got right now to come work with them. So, just be present. That's what I've been working on in my bars at the moment, trying to get out what I'm currently feeling. I might have felt something yesterday, I might have felt something, a couple minutes ago, but what am I currently feeling? It's almost like a focus practice too, like trying to teach myself to stay focused really. That's where I'm at. Still, the thesis right there is still a little jumbled, but that's honestly just because I'm still figuring it out, Miss Melanie. Things are changing. Not freshly 21, but I'll be 22 next month. So yeah, like I am in a space where I'm like, what do I want to say right now? Because I'm at that spot where it is about to kick off. It is about to be the big moment. So I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing, but present, be present.
And that's an amazing way to explain it. You said it perfectly. And you have to give yourself that grace because you're absolutely right. In that meditation of being present in the moment and thinking about the travel, going to those different continents, traveling from Georgia to Japan, think about the difference of culture and the opportunity that was given to you that, many other seventh and eighth graders will never, ever see in their life. So that there is a notch in your belt. That's a trophy you get to say and be like, well, I've been to Japan. I went to South Africa. And you can use those spaces, that culture, that history that you have to really propel others to think about what it means to be present. You can build your future, but also that moment of being present and figuring that out in the music. That's multimodalism, where finding the words or finding the beats or finding a way to express that, not just for the audience but for self. That's what makes musicians the greatest of all time. Michael Jackson being able to express his feelings through his dance, right? And you're a B girl. So maybe there is some type of a movement that you can do or add to that, or have a dancer to put into place, or have someone to put in that R&B rhythm, or get an acoustic guitar, and thinking about those elements and merging that into that. You just said, your things are changing. Things are changing, and so change is always good because it helps you to learn. It helps you to to pivot like a pro, like my friend tells me. It helps you to pivot like a pro, and you absolutely are. The age of 22 is a golden year, because you're still young enough, but you're mature enough where you're learning from those mistakes. So now you can teach others from those mistakes. You can teach them and to be proactive, and let them navigate life, but also tell them, hey, while you're going through that, stay in the moment too, so that can affect you in a more positive way. You're on the right track,
Real.
LP. You're on the right track, okay? Know that. You are on the right track, because life be lifing. That's what my son say. Life be
Yeah.
lifing. So stay on the right track. That's
Yeah.
why I push scholars like yourself. Hip hop helps us, and I say us. So, you've chosen wisely to stick with hip hop to help you create this path of success as a professional, as a member of our global society. That's what hip hop helps us to do. So just ponder a bit on those aspects of it, but just know and hear me when I say you are on the right track, LP. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I
You're welcome.
needed that more than you know. I'm taking all the good energy. People, I've been getting a lot of good affirmations this whole week, so I'm taking it. I'm taking the hint. Thank you.
There you go. You're welcome. And then for this podcast as well, this is being recorded for your interview, and this will also be your ability to share things out, to even use as a teaching piece, and to come back to and say, when I was in that moment, accepting the criticism and the feedback and the growth and such, and now, a month later, a year later, 50 years later, to be able to see that, I pray that this is a time capsule for you, that you can go back and be like, things started, the momentum started to shift right here. Absolutely.
Can you hear me
So,
still? It's kind of
yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. So then, so let me ask you this. Let's take it a step back, right? Because we went deep into a spectrum where we're still thinking, but this question is going to still help you to think as well and be present. Now,
Yeah.
if you could feature any Atlanta legend, living or gone, who's on the track and what's the vibe?
Ti, Big Boy, um, who else? Where my phone at? I gotta double check, make sure it might, because it might just be us three. I think it might just be us three.
Okay. And if you want to add
T.I.
anyone
and
from
Big
any
Boy, I
other
think,
place, that'll work too. But ATL, Ti, and Big Boy, oh yeah, those are some legends indeed.
Oh, and Monica on the harmonies, and maybe a hook if there's a hook. Shout out Miss Monica.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Why those three? Explain. Why did you select those three?
Big Boy just was fly. Like, and I think honestly, um, 22 been playing the Outkast albums a little bit more here recently, but I always heard Andre 3000. You hear Big Boy too, you know, you hear him, but he was fly. Like the bars was fly, the way he rode on the beat was fly. Like everything Twin did was fly. They both was fly. Honestly, Andre could really get on the track too with me. I'm just thinking more so for that vibe, like and the energy I'm kind of going for. Me, Ti, and Big Boy would body that all the way. And then Ti, bro, cause you know, like he is Atlanta. That boy just got swag. Like I love folks that you can hear their swag on the beat. Like when I heard Ti do an R&B take, like just I call it R&B rap. I think when rappers do like a little R&B rap, but they don't take it all the way R&B, they figure out how to make it their own. I think it's fly. And I heard Ti do this one song called "Love This Life." Um, I said, "Oh yeah, this one of them ones." He always had the craziest beats, like um, yeah, it was just crazy. Swagger like us, like that's mad. Come on, yeah, yeah, for sure. And then who else I said? Said Ti,
Monica.
Big Boy, and then Miss
Monica.
Monica. So
Yeah.
crazy enough. Shout out Miss Monica for real. She her son used to actually be in my class here at the school I attended, and I got the opportunity to meet her at a young age when I was in fifth grade. Told her, I think, not even knowing that that was Miss Monica. Like I call her Miss. I say Miss Monica because it's just a respect thing, but I didn't know that was the Monica. Like just in my own little world, as I always was. And her son, he made beats at the time. He even makes music at this point. It's Lil Rocco, but truth be told, I didn't know that at the time. I just was telling her like, yeah, I make music, you know, I rap, I do this. I used to have this. I still have it. My purple notebook with all of my songs I wrote from the beginning, like first ever songs, like notebook paper. And I remember being on FaceTime and showing her, and her and my mom chopping it up, and she like, oh yeah, like you just come on through to the house. You and Rocco come make some music, and that's exactly what we did. We stayed up to 6 a.m. just running around the mansion making music. Like I don't know, like I was a kid not knowing what I was really doing, but just here. And she's just a good person. Like I got a lot of good songs in my playlist from Miss Monica, but her voice, she can hold the tune. Like I know the hook gonna go crazy. I'll write the hook, you know, just sing it.
Yeah, just tell her to feel it. Oh, shout out to Monica. Yeah, that was in my era.
Yeah,
And she was
yeah,
a songstress at a young age too. Like she was absolutely the epitome of R&B back in the day, and even still today. Like when she come to Houston, we going. I'm there. Like, and I want to see her. I want to picture with her.
yeah,
And I like Brandy too, but Monica was just that one where you just could just vibe with her. She had very authentic spirit, and so to hear she's exactly what she comes off as. It's like I knew that. I bet it was. I bet it was nice. I bet she did invite y'all, cooked and everything. And so the lore of it, the story of LP and all of these amazing things that you're talking about yourself, it's no surprise that you are on this cusp of visibility. It's just a matter of
mm,
time now. And I really feel like in the moment that we're in now that you are that star, because every bit of your lore from back in the day screams legend. And you have to accept that too, that your background story is like it's like coming to understanding your superpowers. Like you're understanding like this is your cape and this is your superpower, and this entire time you're just starting to realize it and being able to access and control it, and you're starting to learn that more. That's exactly what I'm hearing, and that's what you should also accept, the acceptance of that. You can continue to be humble and modest, but then you also got to put that cape on and be the hero that you absolutely are, and every essence of it. So T.I., especially T.I., Big Boy, and I love both of them. Outkast, grew up with Outkast. I mean, I love them both equally and separately. And for you to select Big Boy for the reasons that you selected is real. That's as real as it gets, because he is a lyricist. He may not be, dressing in a different fashion like Andre 3000. He may not have the shock value with his clothes, but he got the swag, and he got the lyrics, and he absolutely
Right.
does. So that trio, absolutely, that quartet, it may be something in the future. Maybe you're manifesting that. Who knows? Who knows?
Soon, soon, possibly.
Just said it here first. That's all. Now, so if your life right now had a movie title, what would it be?
Mm.
Yeah, let's start there. What's the title of your life movie?
Family, take your seats. Family, comma, take your seats.
Ah, okay.
That
So
wouldn't be directed to my family. It would be for obviously my family to come, but it's really for the supporters, the fans, anybody that supports Layla and LP. Family, take your seats. Like, that's how it was started.
that's awesome. And so family, take your seats and get ready to watch, and get ready. Get your popcorn, get your Sprite, get your drinks, and be ready to be amazed at the LP, the rapper. And it's just, before this podcast, as I was doing my research, and especially when y'all played that song during Devin 22's podcast, it was like, man, because the moderator in our charity, we were listening to it, we was like, man, LP, she's amazing. Like, wow. Like, yeah, we'll get on. And
Wow.
so listening to everything.
I didn't even know y'all really
y'all
could
putting
hear
the
it. That's
question.
wild.
Yeah, we do our research. It's what we do. But I put the questions together. But now talking to you, now that I've had a chance to actually understand who you are, like, you are truly a gem, LP. And I
Thank
wish you
you.
nothing but success in the future. And my prayer is that you accept that success and really truly walk in it. Everything that you do, everything that you say, you walk in it. You be present, and you start saying you're welcome. Okay, you say thank you when people tell you thank you, but you start saying you're welcome, because you are a gift to us, and you continue to do just that. Okay.
My biggest takeaway from this was to make sure now to say you're welcome. So trust, I'm finna use that. I'm definitely finna use that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, because you are the truth. You are amazing, and it has just been an honor to have you here on the Hip Hop Scholar podcast. I'm going to honor your time, but you are welcome back on the podcast at any time. Email me for any office hours you need as you continue to navigate life,
Yeah.
whether you go back to college or not, or build that business plan. You let us know. But I'm certain that the audience here at the Hip Hop Scholar family here, we're going to take our seats, and we're going to learn to be present, and we are waiting for that new music and continue to vibe to the music that you have now. So we want to thank you so much for being on here. And with that said, Hip Hop Scholar family, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for joining in, and we out of here. Peace.
See you.